Okay, we're going to build a drop-down menu using Fireworks CS4. Open up Fireworks, and the stage size doesn't matter too much, but I've got 400 by 400 and I've set the canvas color to transparent. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to create the button that will activate the drop-down menu. So I'm going to choose a style of rectangle, and I'm going to use a beveled rectangle. Bring my rectangle out, and let's move my tools over here a little bit. It won't go. Typical. Okay, and as you can see, my shape is 130 pixels by 32 pixels. Well, let's make that 140 by 40 pixels, and I'm going to get rid of this horrible green color. So perhaps we could have a gradient on this, linear gradient. And let's change those gradient colors there. Let's make this a grey color, and let's make this perhaps a sort of a lightish blue, so we've got something that looks like that. Let's pick that up and move that to here, and on top of that I want it to say something like science or subjects, so I need to change the fill color to solid, and that'll do, and I'm going to put a color on there, white, and it's going to say subjects. Now that's a bit small, hang on a minute, let's just move that out of the way. Okay, so let's bring that there, increase the font size a little bit, that's a bit too much, let's make the font size 30. And let's move that into position. I find the arrow keys are really good just for nudging it from side to side. So all we've done so far then is to create the basic button that will cause the drop down menu to activate. So let's now make the drop down menu. Okay, well, using the selection tool, make sure you've got this object selected, and let's go to modify and pop-up menu, and we want to add a pop-up menu. I usually choose the hotspot as my slice, and this brings us to this particular interface. Now this is where we decide on the names of the parts of the button that we'll see when it drops down. So my first one's going to say science, S-C-I-E-N-C-E, and the link page is going to be science.html. That's what's good. And my next one's going to say history, and that page will be, what a surprise, history.html. And then last one, just for argument's sake, I'm just going to put home, but normally perhaps you might put that somewhere else, and that's going to be index.html. You wouldn't normally put home there. So that's a good start. Let's go to next, and this is the color scheme that we have. It looks pretty horrible, but you can play around with that, but I'm going to keep it just for argument's sake. Click next. I'm going to keep this particular features. I'm not highlighting changing any of those at the moment. Choose next. I'm going to have my buttons come directly down, but we can always change that later, and click done. And here you see you can alter where you would like your drop downs to appear. This now needs to be saved, so file, save as, and I'm going to call mine drop2_design, and in part 2 of this tutorial we will use the export wizard to get our drop down menu into Dreamweaver.